Mr. Jon Ola Sand, the Executive Supervisor of the EBU, thank you very much for this interview. Could you please specify what your tasks are as the Executive Supervisor of the Eurovision Song Contest?
Well, my task is actually to look after Eurovision Song Contest on a yearly basis. So my work starts when a new host broadcaster has taken on the challenge to host Eurovision Song Contest. I will follow the preparation throughout the year with the host broadcaster, with the city and with all the people involved to make sure that we have 3 good TV shows and a great event around it. Among that, the press center we are sitting in now. During the shows, I will overlook both the performances to make sure that everything goes well, that everyone has come out of this performance as they should. And of course the voting, which I very closely look at to make sure that we have a valid result, that we have it confirmed, so that we can choose the winners, basically, or announce the winners.
All right. To get to a more topical affair then, last week the head of the chairman of the reference group of the Eurovision Song Contest stated that both Russia and Ukraine could face up to a 3-year ban. Could you confirm that?
No, we have not started that discussion yet, whether this will have any implication on their participation in the next years. So we will discuss this after the event, and then we will comment on it. That we have a meeting in June where we will look into this.
Now, some critics may argue that the EBU did not handle the matter of the Russian participation all too well sometimes. Do you agree with that? Were there mistakes made?
I don't think we did any mistakes, but it's the Ukrainian authorities who controls the borders in Ukraine, and it's not EBU. We have had long and good discussions with the authorities. We have asked for broad security guarantees. We have asked for a very tight setup around the venue and security for everyone who is participating in the song contest. According to Ukrainian law, there was a violation of that law, which is about Crimea and entering Crimea via Russia. So there's not much we could do to handle this differently, but we of course regret the situation. I think it undermines the unpolitical nature of Eurovision Song Contest, and as we said, this will be looked into after the event.
Now, it will be looked into after the event, but on which grounds could those countries be banned from participating in future editions?
I will not comment on that now, because now we are focusing on getting attention to all the 42 participating countries, and then we will discuss this after the event.
All right, let's focus on those participating countries then. For instance, the Norwegian entry is using voice samples in their performance this year, which has sparked mild reactions as well, so to say. And apparently, and could you please confirm this, the EBU's reaction was, as long as other broadcasters don't file a complaint, it's okay.
No, that's not the case, but the vocal sounds you hear, or the sounds you hear on the Norwegian entry, cannot be made by a vocal or voice. It's a synthesized sound. So for that reason, it's not a vocal sound. It's a synthesizer imitating a vocal sound. And if you look at the rule, and the reason for this rule we have with no vocals on the backup tapes is clearly not to support the backing vocalists or the lead vocalist with something that can substitute that voice. So this is clearly not a breach of the rules.
All right. Another country then, San Marino, their delegation has asked to have a panel for their televoting rather than using the votes of other countries. Have there been serious talks about that?
Yeah, we have had talks with the broadcaster, and we have discussed this in the reference group, and for now it will stay as it is.
The San Marinese delegation also stated that they do not know which countries are being used to make up for their televoting result. Why isn't that information disclosed?
Because we don't want to disclose how we do this, because we're afraid that we can have anyone influencing this result by doing that. So that's why we have to keep some secrets around that to protect the voting.
Now, something else then, last year we had the surprise announcement a few days before the final that Justin Timberlake would be performing in the final. So my question is, can we expect a similar surprise announcement this year?
I will not comment on anything when it comes to the shows. It was a very late announcement of Justin Timberlake last year, that's right. We have 3 good shows coming up, and we have to wait and see.
Now, how did Justin Timberlake end up at Eurovision actually? How did that happen? Was it actually a very last minute thing, or was it just announced very late?
Justin Timberlake is not someone who's just pops up. It takes a long time to get an agreement in place, to make sure that the production can handle it, that Justin himself can handle it, or an artist on that level can handle it, have the time to travel, have the time to rehearse. So that's not a last minute decision, but it was a last minute announcement. We wanted to keep this as a secret for a long time, not to overshadow everything else that was done in that show, and it turned out to be a good decision, we think.
Now, we've seen again a big Chinese delegation here at the Eurovision Song Contest this year, and it's again being broadcast in the US. So, are there further plans or thoughts of making the Eurovision Song Contest even more global?
Not at the moment. To include new territories into Eurovision Song Contest, we need to have a domestic audience where they in these territories. It's not just to add a country and hope for the best. In the case of Australia, they have broadcasted Eurovision Song Contest for more than 30 years. Huge domestic audience, a lot of fans, a lot of enthusiasm. So that's a totally different thing. We need to build it very slowly, both in China and the US. It will take many years. There is no idea at the moment to bring in any new territories outside of Europe.
But there is the possibility of eventually leading to that in the future then?
That might be. We will see, but there is no plan and no structured plan to do so. We're working with an Asian setup of Eurovision Song Contest, and if that succeeds, and if we can get that up and running, it could be interesting to see if we can bridge this one way or another. But that's way ahead in the future.
So there are no specific plans to that as right now?
No.
Now, later this year, we will see the first Eurovision, choir contest, so to say, in Latvia. What can you tell us? Are there any updates on that production?
Well, it's the first year we do this, and we are quite optimistic that this will be a recurrent thing, that we can do it every year or every second year. It's a fantastic event. The event already exists. We are shaping it into a TV format. It's a lot of enthusiasm, very much like Eurovision Song Contest. Thousands of people traveling to the host city to perform. It's amateur choirs, so it's a lot of enthusiasm and joy around it. And we'll see now. This is the first year. It's a tryout, and we hope it can be a success that we can build on.
And Belgium is one of the participating countries, so we are looking forward, of course, to seeing that. Now, later this year is the Junior Eurovision Song Contest in Georgia. How are talks going with Tbilisi?
It's going well. I've had several trips already to Tbilisi to talk to the broadcasters and the people in charge of the organization there. We have decided on the venue. We have decided now on slogan and artwork around this, which we will present here in Kiev later this week. So I think it's going well. So full focus from my side after Eurovision Song Contest.
Are you also attempting to bring back more countries back to the competition, such as, for instance, Belgium or France or Spain?
Well, if Belgium would like to join, they're more than welcome. We have a dialogue with several broadcasters, and we hope to get more back. It's their choice, and we do what we can to facilitate for that. So to all the Belgium decision makers, it would be great to have Belgium back in junior.
We'll make sure to tell them. Final question then, perhaps a tricky one. If you were to choose, you had carte blanche, so to say, how would the Eurovision Song Contest be in 10 years from now, in 2027?
That's a very difficult question. I think the most important thing is that Eurovision Song Contest developed together with the general music industry and the general music trends. I think it will always be something special, something you don't see anywhere else. But I think we have to keep it in pace with the industry, in pace with modern composers, artists, performers, and if we manage to do that, and we manage to do the changes we will need to do in the next 10 years, then I think we will have a successful Eurovision Song Contest in the future.
Quick follow-up, what are some of the changes that have to be done within the next 10 years then, according to you?
I don't know. we will see. We have done some changes over the last years. We are no longer making a draw of the running order, which I think is perfect. You don't draw chapters in a book. This is a very well used recipe for making TV programs, that you put it together in the best way. I think that developed the Song Contest. I think we have done things with the voting and how we present the votes. We added the juries. Before that, we took away the orchestra. All of this has made Eurovision Song Contest dynamic, and it can grow. And I think we have to look at this, or we have to look at how we can develop it for the future years, basically.
Right. Thank you very much for this interview, Mr. Sand. Thank you.